Honestly, if the Chinese government have all of my data from my TikTok app, then all they know is that I'm a witchy lesbian and I just want a butch girlfriend. So fucking give it to me.
27 questions.
27 weeks.
27 pedestrians.
I don't know, like more about Xi Jinping and his like the expansionist ideals that China's been exhibiting over the last maybe like 20 years, which very well executed, very fascinating to watch. But I don't know, it ends up being, I guess, like an exercise in soft power and who's dominant in the region. And I guess as much as Australia would like to think that we are the dominant force, the dominant power in the Asia Pacific region, like we're just not. That's China. So I think it ends up being, should we ban TikTok, ends up being a question of like international relations and international diplomacy.
Absolutely not. I think TikTok is probably the one good thing to come out of 2020. It's seen friends and families and housemates getting all together to be very creative. They've inspired people, they've come together, they've done weird things like make the best gnocchi, do the weirdest dances, but what would people have done outside of this? One of my mates joked to me the other week and said that he completed Pornhub. So I think people would have been doing that more, maybe finished it a second or third time. Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram all steal so much more data, the same amount of data, and I think people are scared because it's now falling back to children being exposed to that. What people don't also realise is that the moment a photo of a child is put online, a social profile is being built of them, so it's not anything new. And this does then come back to a whole bunch of xenophobia. So since the Cold War, we've been taught to be scared of communist countries because it was what we were taught. Yes, it's a Chinese-owned company, but it doesn't really affect the app whatsoever. And I think people not understanding that extends to a bigger baseline. One of my friends the other week said to me, "Oh, it's because they're communists. They're responsible for the flu." Like, but if we're blaming political bodies for diseases, should we then be blaming democracy for syphilis? Like, people want to be angry at China at the moment, and this is their reason, but it doesn't make sense.
No. The Washington Post and The Guardian have both reported that TikTok takes as much data as Facebook. And I think it's clear xenophobia when Facebook's been around for ages and nobody's going like, oh my God, America's taking all of my information and data. Oh my God, Zuckerberg. But nobody says that, and instead they're all like, oh, TikTok, China, the other. So shook, so scared. And it's just clear xenophobia to me. I think if you're worried about data, happy for you to go off-grid, whatever. But I think when there's such a clear discrepancy between Facebook not being banned and then TikTok, everyone's freaking out, I think you really have to sort of analyze what triggered that.
Is TikTok selling our data potentially to the central Chinese government any better or worse than Facebook selling our data so that Trump could steal an election and that Brexit could steal an election?
I mean, first of all, fuck TikTok, bring back Vine. I love Vine. But no, I don't think TikTok should be banned. It's a good source of entertainment. It's a new platform for businesses and influencers. And in terms of data sharing, it's not really doing anything different to what Facebook does. So no, I don't think TikTok should be banned.
Jason Derulo makes 75 grand a post on TikTok. So part of me goes, look, if you can do that, and with his rig, good luck to him. So I think if you were making 75 grand a post, you wouldn't want it banned. But if the Chinese government are in their spine, but at the end of the day, it's just another platform for good-looking people to see. They just dance on it. It's like, why do we need that?
So I know that this question is referring to Chinese government spying on us and privacy concerns, and I'm not going to answer on that basis, but do I think TikTok should be banned? Abso-fucking-lutely. It's like Vine 2.0. I make YouTube videos that are like 10 minutes long at least, and there are many people who make YouTube videos, and then I don't have a TikTok. I have a TikTok account, but I don't go on the app. But from what I've seen, it's just Vine 2.0. It's stupid, and maybe it's because I'm old, but yeah, get rid of it, please.
I'm glad the conversation's being had. I don't think TikTok should be banned like now because it's already here. But I'm glad that conversations are being had because no doubt something that will follow TikTok will dive deeper into our data. And look, it's a slippery slope.
If you ban TikTok, How else am I going to find all the hot lesbians? This is the only reason I use this app. And if it's gone, I don't have anything to do in lockdown. No, don't ban it.
I think TikTok should be banned because, once again, kids spend way too much time looking at things and spending time making a video that they hope to go viral for what reason? They can better spend their time doing other things than just watching a phone. You get in a deep rabbit hole sometimes when you get on it, you just keep scrolling, and next thing you know, like an hour or two's gone and you haven't done a single thing.
Yes, on so many levels. TikTok is such a waste of my time. I freaking hate the TikTok hole that you can fall into sometimes. But on a more serious note, some of the reports coming out around what's going on in the background and the information that's getting fed into China is a bit of a concern. And I think if there's any question mark around the security of the app and the data that's being collected, that we should not have it in Australia.
So for the sole reason that my music has not blown up on TikTok, I want it banned. Delete the app off the app store. Like, I don't care if they take my data, like, you can do that. But the fact that you won't, like, you will scurry through my data, but you won't, like, promote my songs, you won't push my songs virally, that's petty. So I'm going to be petty and say ban TikTok.
I think it's a lot of fun, and I know a lot of the concern about the app comes from the fact that it's viewed as a Chinese spyware app, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not very well versed on how much of that is true, but I think if the Australian government is going to be so concerned about people spying on us and taking our information and abusing our privacy, they should probably work a little bit harder to actually fortitude our privacy here on our own soil, because I mean they have not got a very good track history when it comes to taking care of Australian information. Like, just for example, Robodebt, throw that out there. So I'm not necessarily going to trust them in saying we should get rid of an app
without any actual evidence to back it up. To me, it's just another bullshit internet conspiracy theory. There's billions of them that get hatched every day. So to me, without actual evidence of that, I can't really comment on it.
I think that I, for one, find it quite suspicious that the US is pushing this propaganda around whether TikTok should be banned. So India had actually banned TikTok, the Indian military banned TikTok. However, they also banned 58 other Chinese-owned apps after the Indian military had a run-in with the Chinese military, like in the Himalayas. So that makes sense why they banned it. But this whole should we ban TikTok debate, to me, is just like the Scooby-Doo meme. It's like, is there a scary new security threat? Oh no, it turns out it was just the US-China trade war all along.
I suppose if we were to look back 5-10 years ago and would we ban Vines? Probably not. It's something that was sort of more for our generation and the young people of TikTok. I think it's absolutely fine that people want to have a play around on there.
If they're listening right now, you can have my identity. I don't want it. It's shit. Just take it and run with it. You might do a better job.
I think it's a great platform. I think people just need to be self-aware and be a bit more careful of what they decide to share publicly and on a public forum.
We're so bombarded with images of like celebrities, influencers, all that stuff, where like I think TikTok, it's just normal people who like go viral for a few seconds. Like it's cool, it's interesting, and it's very entertaining.
TikTok from a user point of view is an awesome platform, and it's really user friendly, it works well. That's why it's so good. From a content point of view, there are some very good creators on TikTok. I'd say it's less than 10%, and I'd say 90% is just trash, and I just hate watching it. I'm pretty 50-50 on this one. I think if there was a genuine security threat, then I would not cry about it if it got banned, because that comes first. And there are that many social media platforms. I'm sure Instagram, Snapchat, one of them would create a user platform identical to TikTok, and you could just get your feed from there. So I wouldn't be one that would cry about it too much. I don't have hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok that I'm going to lose. So yeah, I'm not too fussed.
If there was some way to save the content, but yeah, I think it probably should. And I guess the question that kind of sticks with me the most is it fair that governments are playing out like control of the populace via our social media? And is it fair that they get to decide what social media we keep and what social media they take away? Like, is that constitutional?
I guess my only experience with TikTok is that it pops up in my Instagram and it just looks like a instant gratification for people that are bored and looking for satisfaction in outer ways that they can't find internally. So my humble opinion would be ban TikTok because it chews up my content and my time, and I would like to spend no further time watching people on TikTok.
Love TikTok. I bloody love it. One of my friends, literally all we do, our entire text message conversations for the last 2 months have just been sending TikToks to each other. So I think it's funny. Like, I think the people are really creative and inventive on it, and like some of the skills that you see people putting into these like 15-second videos, like they're like master video editors all of a sudden. So I think it's quite cool. But I also don't want the Chinese government to know where I am at all times. So I'm very conflicted. Part of me, I go like day at a time. I'm like, one day I'm like, I'm going to delete it. I'm never using it again. And then the next day I'm like, oh, but it's really funny. I saw a funny video. So I'm...
No, absolutely not. I live most of my life on social media, and I think we're very ignorant to think that our information isn't already all over the place. I understand why people might want to ban TikTok, but I think that it's not going to actually do anything, and Facebook has all your information anyway.
A few months ago was Huawei. It's really just a question around what's driving the agenda to ban TikTok, and to then figure out if you agree to that. You got to question why something's being banned.
TikTok. I personally really just despise TikTok. Like, I think it's hilarious. There's so many really, really funny things on there. And I think it's a really cool avenue to let people communicate very differently. But I think with a lot of the youth mentoring work that I do, I see the impact it's having on these kids, and it's just so challenging. Like, there's such a competition to always be like the sexiest and the most assertive, and you're seeing like kids who just aren't one sort of person pretending to consistently be this person that they're seeing glamorized on TikTok. And one of the girls that I work with actually wrote a poem recently, and it was called What It's Like to Be a Girl, and it was her experience being sexualized by society and by other people. And in this poem she was talking about this constant pressure to always like appear a very specific way, and if you embrace your sexuality then you're a slut, and if you try to so if you embrace your sexuality, you're a slut, but if you don't, and if you want to just not be involved in that world, then you're seen as not cool enough, in this social game that's like consistently being played. So I see like lots of really great things in terms of hanging out with friends and having like a fun activity, and dancing's great, but like this hypersexualization that I think occurs on TikTok and different social medias in general can be so damaging to the youth, especially in like this current environment where they don't have any other outlets.
Oh, well, you know what? I don't know. I don't think TikTok should be banned because, first of all, I'm not even on it, so it doesn't really affect me. But in terms of China stealing our data, apparently, allegedly, supposedly, I mean, isn't our data already stolen all the time by everyone? And like, nothing that we're doing is very exciting. I mean, steal my data. I'm not doing anything exciting. So I don't think TikTok should be banned. I mean, God, can't we just figure something out? It's just a bit ridiculous. Can't we ban something else like that's doing more harm to the world than TikTok? Can we ban racists? I don't know how we would do that.